Welcome back to Knack II. So yeah, let's beat the crap out of the monks.
Also, for context here, this is what it was used for the public demo of the game.
Yes, if you go to the PlayStation Store and download the Knack II demo, this chapter is what you get. This particular
talk about
section.
first impression.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. For the third part, it's about time I finally actually give you some of the machinations of why Knack II was made, told by Japan Studio themselves. Because, you know, it's not like they want to talk to Mark Cerny about this sort of stuff.
And chapter 3, by the way, is complete, which is a good time for Jova to do this, because chapter 3 is completely pointless story-wise. You could literally cut chapter 3 out of the story and literally not... You could literally have the characters, okay, we can only go. It's dangerous to go at night. All right, let's all sleep till next morning, and the story will function exactly the same. This is nothing but pure filler. Go ahead, Jova.
All right, go ahead.
Where did those guys even drop from? Digress. Okay. Why Sony decided to make a sequel? PlayStation's Japan studio isn't shy about admitting the original Knack wasn't perfect, understatement. When a sequel was announced at last year's PlayStation Experience, Sony was open about listening to fan feedback and trying to improve upon the first game, even including the line of in-game dialogue about Knack's limited moveset. Yeah,
Which
that's
we will
right,
hear
guys, it's
think
better.
later on here.
Don't you see, guys, it's better because now we're self-aware that Knack kinda sucks, so... Yay? Anyway, Japan Studio went into more detail explaining exactly what they hope to improve with a sequel. Well, the reason we are making a sequel to Knack is just that the team had a whole lot of ideas that they didn't manage to get into the first game. Okay! So you're telling me that you had a lot of ideas for your first game, but they didn't make it in.
Well, you're just telling me that the first game was rushed, a thing everyone knew already.
Yep. And how much you want to bet that some of those ideas were stuff that should have been in the first game? Like, oh, I don't know, the fact that Knack's elemental power-ups actually do stuff other than just give you a wider hellfire and make you weak to some stuff. Anyway, this was said by creator-director Mark Cerny, yada, 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 yada. So, in a very real sense, what you're seeing with Knack 2 is the items that ended up on the cutting room floor. Oh! So, guys, it turns out that a lot of these features that, you know, should have been in the first game were cut. Isn't that great to know, Shiroi?
Yes.
Simply put, we really love Knack. Lead level designer Kenji Sakai added, after the Knack 1 project, we knew there were so many things we could have done with this unique character made of parts. So we did all of these experiments. Some of these ideas were really great, and we wanted to share this experience with users. That really motivated us to keep going with Knack 2. So, again, this is all talking up to the fact that, guys, we know we could have included all these things, but we wanted to share with you the experience you should have gotten before. It gets even better. According to the team, the launch timing of the original game made it a challenge as the limited development window meant a lot had to be completed in a short time. So, what they're saying here...
That's a fancy term for the game was rushed out the door.
So, here's the thing. Knack 2 was supposed to be the game that was not going to be rushed. Knack 2 was supposed to be the game that would have all the time, love, and care it needed. In fact, didn't
well, it was in development for 3 years. It had 3 years. I mean,
yeah.
a linear platforming beat 'em up like this, 3 years development is more than enough. So.
Wow, hey guys, what's another game that took a while that was a platformer and was 2.5D at certain points? Mighty number 9.
Oh, Mighty number 9 that's a whole complicated mess up story on its own.
Look out, guys. Jennifer Hill's character just said this is the true test of strength.
It is?
And this is still going.
All I have to do is mash the multi-punch move over and over and over. There we go.
Yeah, we're still in this one area. The big difference between the previous title and this one is that the schedule for Knack 1 was quite tight, so it was a test to the finish, art director Yoshiaki Yamaguchi explained. Of course, we still tried to spend sufficient time and resources to create the game. Yeah, I'm sure you did. This time, work started even before we had gotten official approval for Knack 2 because all the staff were so excited to work on it. That's right, Tio. Japan Studio were so excited to work on Knack 2 that they started work on Knack 2 before the thing was even greenlit.
Brilliant.
Like, question, were they really that dried out? Like, was there nothing else for them to do?
I refuse to believe that. I genuinely refuse to believe that.
We made prototypes, one after another. We had always been a very unified team with very few divisions, meaning not everyone would
Hold on,
focus
Jova.
on... And...
Listen
Oh,
here,
are we
Shirai.
It's
finally
actually
about to?
important.
Finally.
You saved the world. All you know are 3 punches and a kick.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Oh, but he can jump.
You see, Shirai, we're making fun of the fact that our main character is
Great
useless.
warrior.
See?
Need to know more.
Just because you point
And
out
out
your
of nowhere,
problems.
she just gives him energy.
Yeah, this is another thing, Shirai. Ava, for some
Where did
reason,
that come from?
I don't know. For some reason, Ava has this
energy.
ability to
Okay,
create these
okay.
balls of energy that go into Knack and somehow give him a new move. And this is gonna be and that's gonna be one of her main purposes in this game. At fixed points in the story, she just gives us new moves out of nowhere. So basically, here's how this move works. You hold circle to do a mega punch. That's basically it.
Which
Well, that guy...
bypasses shield.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that guy's not dead.
It defeats shields, yeah. So yeah, as you can see, Ava is very little more than just a fucking exposition dump.
So, guys, believe it or not, they actually gave you a weapons upgrade system that's even worse than Other M's Adam Tell Me What to Do system.
No, Jove, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to still say that.
No.
I would say
Explain.
it's on the same level at the very least.
Okay, let me explain. With
No.
Adam,
Outer M
it
is way
was-
more insulting.
Well, don't get me wrong, Other M's insulting, but I'm talking about how stupid the whole premise itself is. Like, with Other M, yeah, authorizations were stupid, but at least the story tried to, legitimize it by saying, oh, this is
And
a
failed
mission that we
horribly
can't
for the
afford to
record.
screw up. Yes, and it did fail. This, though, is even worse, because, okay,
It doesn't
Knack-
even bother to give an explanation.
not only that, Ava can literally give Knack these abilities at any point, and needless to say, Knack is kind of their best hope at saving the world, so... My question, guys, why don't you give Knack all these abilities? Or better yet, why haven't you given all your robots these abilities?
Or even
Because-
better, I repeat my complaint with Sonic Unleashed. What is up with platformers having this thing where, like, why can't I just have all of my abilities from the beginning? There you go.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, it's like I say, it's like, yes, congrats, you gave us an upgrade system, but it's still a stupidly implemented one, and even still, some of those abilities are some stuff you can need. Also, Knack cannot really work against a boulder.
It can,
And these
it's
boulders
just,
one-hit kill you, by the way.
It can, Jova, but it's just bad depth perception.
But guys, the savior of mankind, defeated by a boulder, simply ran out of it.
Again,
Also, it-
if this was a good platformer, like, say, Super Mario Odyssey, you know what would happen here? We would switch into our own overhead perspective so that we can actually see how far away from the balls we are. See?
Hell,
Yeah.
even Mario 64, as early as it was, gave you some bout of camera control and did, position the camera in a more favorable way for you more often than not.
Yeah.
It's even
From the
explained in
N64.
story.
So, yeah, I have to ask, story-wise, is this a part of some tradition that these people do for fighters, having to risk life and limb just for the entertainment of the citizens? You sick
Considering
people?
our humans on the brink of destruction, I wouldn't be surprised.
And again, like I said, gee, wouldn't it have been nice to know that there's actually a human race who literally has relic energy? Pretty much this series is equivalent to energy bending. Yes, I freaking went there. Look, energy bending was a Deus Ex Machina in Avatar, but at the very least in the original series, it was used once. And even then you could argue, very loosely, that it made some semblance of sense. Here, though, well, guys, it turns out that by studying in the ancient mountains, you can actually find out these relic energy bits that give relic pots these special abilities, even though the super ability she gave Knack was just to... What was even the special ability there, Pedro? It looked like he was just making a bigger arm.
Basically a super punch that bypasses protections.
Even though I'm sure he kind of had something like that in the first Knack game.
Not just
albeit
that,
he had to
it
be
shouldn't
bigger.
really need an energy boost to get that ability from,
I have no idea. Sorry.
It's literally punching it's really a straight punch, just with more cubes around it. More relic around it. So it shouldn't need that kind of plot-related power up to conjure up a thing like that. It's like the Green Lantern video games where they give you such a limited number of constructs to use.
Wow. Hey, speaking of which, how about that interview? A #1 priority for the project was to launch with the hardware and showcase some of the performance of PS4, like particle effects and graphic effects, just like in the first game, said Yoshida, president of Sony's Worldwide Studios. Wow, it's like, okay, is this just a creator's pet for Sony? Like, why were Sony so much in backing this, yet when the time came to shove, they kind of quietly didn't back it when the moment was most important. Like, even the president of Sony is trying to apparently defend this.
I already seen the song already, at least a couple of times already with Sony Jova. It's similar to a tactic of what Disney did for stuff like John Carter. Actually greenlight something only for relatively early on, just abandon it and leave it to rot, basically.
I mean, the thing with Sony is that they've done it not once, but twice within the same franchise. And not only that, the franchise that was supposed to be birthed from its very first time. Like, you know... Oh, how lovely. The final challenge. And the final challenge is... robots that shoot rocks at you.
Not just that, yeah, why can't Knack have these abilities that mind you, the robots that are using the same right technology of him are actually having?
Because, Joe, once again...
No, that's the thing, Pedro, I know what you're about to say, but for the context of the game, Knack should have these abilities, even if not by default. It should be a possibility that he could have, but he never has these kind of things in the game. He has his own set, obviously, but he never has these things that these other robots are having, because, as Pedro was about to say, once again, the enemy gets all the cool toys while you get to the short side of the stick.
Gigio, it's not... Gigio, maybe a story reason could have been that Xander wants to just show that he's better than Dr. Vargas, except for the fact that his assistant Ava gave us the abilities, so I have no idea what the heck's going on.
Sorry, the...
Cutscene.
I keep forgetting also his name, but whatever.
Yay! Woo! You killed a bunch of people! Let's do a party!
And look up at the starry... Oh, I guess it's daytime now.
Terrible transitioning.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're going up into those oh-so-dangerous mountains.
She's right.
Are you sure you're warm enough, dear?
I'm good.
What are you, his parents? Oh wait, no.
Well,
you're
they're kind
not,
of the
because
closest thing he has,
dead.
because remember, he's an orphan.
Seriously, I'll be fine.
You're not gonna get cooties, Lucas.
Hey, why don't you two come with him to make sure he's okay? Like, Marcus, you came on these expeditions, and hey, Charlotte, you're walking pretty fine considering the fact that you had to use a cane in the first game after going missing.
Yeah, that's another thing, Mark. Did you just forget that you established this character to have a severe leg injury because of the backstory in the first game? What happened to that?
Charlotte was kind of a heavy force, seeing as how she kind of was the bout of sadness. And,
I'm guessing you can argue. I'm guessing you can
But
argue.
as soon as she was brought to civilization, they found a cure to it.
I guess because this is supposed to be like a scientifically advanced universe. I guess that's plausible, but I kind of wish you could at the very least, a throwaway line.
Hey guys, I can solve this in 3 words: relic, bionic leg.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, come on. You go on a big
This
tangent
just screams
about how
about
much
automate
robots are used in this
potential.
world. Would it have killed them to maybe have designed a relic bionic leg? Heck, how cool would that have been actually to see a human who's part relics?
Let's just say, Jova.
Maybe for the third day.
No, it's not that too. Okay, Jova, how about this? Here, something positive for you to keep in mind.
I called it, didn't I?
No, you didn't call anything. This is technically off topic, but there's nothing going on right now. But it's just that's too good of an opportunity for me to pass on. It's let's just say, Jova, you got something. Let's just say, Jova, that particular scenario that you just fought up. The full potential of it will be realized in Inokuni 2, but that's all I'll say.
Cool. Anyway, back to the interview. When it comes to feedback from players, the team takes criticism of the original Knack very seriously and has specific changes in mind for the sequel. According to Ejima, 2 of the main criticisms of the original Knack were that Knack didn't have a diverse enough moveset, no kidding, and that players expected more platforming sections.
How the hell am I supposed to get a yellow crystal up there?
Find a way around.
We just need to get to the actual platform with
Oh,
mini
right.
Knack and then actually punch it the crystal.
You know what's interesting too? Later on we get an ability where we can press triangle
Yeah,
to reach.
the hook kind of like.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
No.
Main intro of that.
So according to the team for this game, the biggest criticisms were that Knack didn't have a diverse enough moveset and that there wasn't enough platforming sections. So I guess Knack was supposed to be a platformer, not just a beat 'em up. Could have fooled me. So that's why there's a lot more platforming here. In jumps that won't even kill you, because from what I've seen, the majority of platforming here is, oh, you have to make it up here or you'll
It's not
have
so much
to
that.
try again.
It's not so much that, Jova. It's more so the fact that the game does not have a live system, and whenever and if you die and fall in a platforming section, you will just respawn right before it. So
And you know what? And
So
you know
there's
what?
very
Well,
little
okay.
penalty for failing.
You know what? You know, fine. You can say that lives are outdated, but the platforming itself is basic, easy. Like, again, the worst platforming sections are the bits with little Knack, and even then, those aren't really falls that'll kill you often. It'll just be more of an inconvenience. In fact, in some ways, people might consider that even worse than death in some cases.
Guys, monks, guards, there were just a couple of goblins just up the bridge when you were guarding.
Oh, wow, they even admit themselves that goblin sightings are on the rise, so... what
Maybe
are
they're
you-
fake, like the
So-
police guard
Welcome,
in
welcome to
Security.
Cornelia.
Yes.
Welcome to
The
Cornelia.
old battlefield is on the other side of this mine.
Why couldn't we have flown over to the other side?
Oh, I love this
Now,
one.
years ago,
Listen to this.
he believes little can be achieved with metal.
Oh, never mind. It's not yet.
What?
Alright, Shirai. Remember how shitty the power-ups were in Act 1?
Well, they didn't really do anything, so yeah.
We're about to meet the first power-up of this game.
So, Xander apparently thought that there's little use in metal weapons.
I think so. Is it still in this
There are
part?
several wrong things with that sentence.
We're trying to
Oh, never mind. I think it's in the next... actually, never mind. It is in this part. It is in this part.
Okay, so, back to the interview. The reason we didn't include much platforming in the first Knack was because our goal was to create a game for people from age 7 to 70 could enjoy.
Bullshit.
Wow. Let's see, 4-year-old me played several Sonic games in my time, and I was having a ball even if I died a lot.
Yeah, just like what you mentioned just now, Jova. Even if you get your ass kicked, so in this kind of case because you're too little. So what? Learn, get fucking good. Stop with this mentality that you need to handhold all the time because otherwise you fear that your game will not sell enough.
Children
Yeah.
are perfectly capable of learning by themselves. Heck, I grew up with the Crash series, and Crash 1 was one of the games I played the most, and that's the hardest one in the series by far. To,
Same.
again, as I said before, the point of it being unfair, but that still didn't deter me in any way, shape, or form.
It gets even better, guys. Listen to the rest of the sentence. And players who are very young or very old, because, you know, plenty of people over 70 are going to be playing video games.
Well, to be fair, yes, there are...
Some people do,
No,
actually.
but
Some
that's
people
that's
do,
the
yeah.
thing, Pedro. Yes, but that's the thing, Pedro. That's what the Wii was for with all that shovelware.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be surprised,
Oh,
Theo. There are actually hardcore old
That
people gamers.
70-year-old boomer.
I can definitely believe that.
Granny gamers, that's like great.
I can
They
definitely
exist,
believe
believe
that.
it or not. I've
No,
seen
no,
it.
I know they exist.
I believe that.
I know they
But-
exist. What I find is how they're belittling them, because it gets even better. People who are very young or very old find jumping from one moving object to another in 3D space very difficult, Ichiba explained.
Hell, let's not
I
forget
grew up
that...
as a free,
Let's not forget
like,
that,
modern Sonic child.
Let's not forget that Nolan Bushnell, by this point, he's like, what, 70 years old?
Yeah.
So, like,
Also, Crash had plenty moving platforms in 3D. What are they talking about?
I mean, the number of old people playing video games is only going to increase as years go on because there's going to be a lot of people who, you know, either made or played video games in their youth. So obviously they're still going to do it as old people. This is just a natural process of the coming up with the art form. Kind of like how
Well, gee,
back
yeah.
in the beginning of film there weren't that many old people watching films, but nowadays old people people watch films all the time. But go ahead.
Well, gee, guys. I mean, I can't understand why Sony of all companies would think that people can do 3D.
Oh, and Jova, I got
platforming.
myself a Sunstone Bomb.
This is supposed to be inspired by Crash Bandicoot, and yet they're saying all this. Did you actually play any of those games?
It gets even better, Shiroi. Believe it or not, if you play
Shiroi, allow me to remind you that the writer and director Mark Cerny, he worked on them.
Yeah.
That's the baffling
What's
part.
wrong with you?
It gets even better, Shiroi. Apparently, because of this criticism, they've included a feature where if you play on easy mode, you actually get an option to skip certain quote-unquote difficult
How can
platforming
this be
sections.
easier? They're drawing diagrams for
It's
you.
it's
Well, Shiroi, they give you an option to skip platforming sections
To be
sometimes.
fair, Java, this is a thing that this is a trend that a lot of modern games are actually adopting, and that I'm not too okay with.
I'm not
yeah,
too
I'm
okay
not-
with them, but
I'm not okay
maybe
with
for
it.
a different reason. That
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
It's ugly as shit.
Metal Knack. Original Metal Knack is back.
Wow. I'm impressed.
You
I'm
are?
not.
Little trick I taught him.
Wait, you taught him?
Oh, remember Jove in the first game?
Oh, ha 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 ha.
Oh, never mind. It's
Wait,
Iron Knack.
Knack.
Iron Knack.
Wait,
Okay,
that
Iron
was
Knack.
Metal Knack. What the heck?
Well, no, technically this is iron, not metal. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, this is Knack when you
Technicality.
absorb metal. Oh, never mind. Wait, is it metal? But wait, never mind. It's metal parts. It says there. Wait, is it? But it was called Metal Knack in the first game.
And you can do iron punches and iron whips, even though you clearly stated it's metal in a mining place for metallurgy.
Mark,
even a Japanese
metal
game
and
that-
iron are not the same thing. Go ahead. Too.
It's not even a thing like, oh, it's a Japanese game that was mistranslated. No, because this was developed still in America.
This was written by Western writers.
Anyway, go ahead. Should continue, Jova, might as well.
Another main criticism of Knack was the sense of scale, as Knack could switch sizes in the original, but the game rarely took advantage of it. Based on that feedback, in Knack 2, we made it so enemy sizes stay small even as Knack gets bigger, and we have huge enemies appearing even when Knack is still small, Ajima said. This allows players to really feel Knack's size changes as
I'm
they
really
progress.
feeling it.
We listen very carefully to players' responses, and we just filled out things that were missing, Becker added. So they're actively admitting that, yeah, we knew we left out implemental things, but we consider it a good sign of listening to player feedback that we included that in.
Did they actually listen though, or did they just smile and nod?
You know, the issue I take with them implementing the skip feature is the fact that, this is one time where it's confirmed that this was their response to feedback. Oh, wait, no, not even feedback. They assumed. Like, at least when it came to New Super Mario Bros. Wii U, they said that was based off of feedback from, more entitled gamers and whatnot. But this was not even feedback. This was their assumption that, yeah, part of the reason Knack 1 didn't sell is because people, either very young or very old people, couldn't get into it because we made the platforming too hard, even though there was barely any platforming. In fact, didn't you mention that one of your main criticisms was the lack of platforming? So what the heck are you guys even talking
Make up your
about?
mind.
Yeah. Since one of the team's goals is to make Knack 2 as accessible as possible, it was a challenge to add more variety to the gameplay. Wow, without making things too difficult for younger players. Oh, so how do we make it even easier? Oh God.
Okay, so basically the gimmick here is that I have to get a lot of iron and parts and relics so I can be heavy enough to press on the switch to open the door. Well, it's okay. So I'm not even gonna address the Japan Studio thing because that's an entirely confusing thing that I don't even want to touch. But I'll just say this when it comes to Cerny. That's the thing. Again, Shiroi. He's like I said. He's good at following orders and having someone telling him what to do. If he's in that position, he'll do great programming and designing. The problem is, he's a pure technical guy. He's just not a good creator.
Oh, you want another laugh? Ajima says that they were focusing heavily on the co-op play this time. Ijima added, you can play the entire game from beginning to end with a partner. They can join or quit anytime they want, and anyone can enjoy this game together.
Pedro
Be it
just
family
rage
members,
quits.
friends or couples. Goodness me.
I
That is the
hate
perfect
this
time
This
game.
for it.
sounds like a terrible time for a couple.
Finally, the most important thing. Others have spoken about the gameplay, but people also wanted to see improvements to the movie scene quality, Yamaguchi said. So, we worked closely with a studio in the US and even had our own shared wiki. Yes, a developer literally said they had their own shared wiki to facilitate detailed discussions as we work together. The movie production schedule for the previous titles was really packed. We get it, you were rushed. And we barely finished before going gold. There are places here and there that we would have improved if we had more time. This time around, we had a strong design and ample feedback to start with, which means we were able to produce an even higher quality product. It's a good feeling. Easy to understand has been my motto and the motto of the team, Sakai said. And that pretty much is it, guys. This was apparently the result of them listening to fan feedback. Are you
There's so
impressed
much-
yet?
There's so
Totally.
much to unpack there that it's not even worth it.
Wow. Someone please save Japan Studios' souls.
Anyway, see you for the next part, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.
So yeah.